the end of the day, and I can say this, and this is not an excuse, my son never indulged in drugs around me. You got to realize I'm his dad, bro. And I was a disciplinarian. I was strict, structured. So certain things I didn't see. I never saw Quan pop a pill in front of me.
But they're saying it's over an overdose. That's some fake ass pills, bro. 9 times out of 10, it's probably them fake ass pills. Like, I don't knock nobody who do what they do, but it's too fucking dangerous to get anything off the streets.
Breaking news, or should I say breaking silence, because the official story about rich homie Quan, yeah, it's got more holes than a Swiss cheese starter pack. Let me ask you something real quick. If you were the last person to see someone alive, wouldn't your story be crystal clear? No pauses. No I don't remembers. No conveniently missing details. So why, in this case, does everything sound like it was rehearsed but badly? Because according to whispers, side eyes, and allegedly flying around the internet like confetti at a scandal parade, the final hours before Quan's death are anything but clear. An overdose, they said. Tragic, they said. Case closed. Move along. Nothing to see here. Except, people are seeing everything. The timing, weird. The reactions, even weirder. And the last person who saw Quan alive, suddenly talking, or at least being talked about. Now, before anyone starts screaming conspiracy, relax. We're just asking questions. The kind of questions that make powerful people uncomfortable. The kind of questions that get comment sections mysteriously heated. So buckle up, because if even half of what's being whispered is true, then this isn't just a tragedy. It's a cover-up hiding in plain sight. And trust me, you're gonna want to hear this. Let's slow this all the way down, because this is the exact moment where the story stops sounding like a
but they're saying it's over an overdose. That's some fake ass pills, bro. 9 times out of 10, it's probably them fake ass pills. Like, I don't knock nobody who do what they do, but it's too dangerous to get anything off the street. You gambling with your life when you swallow that pill that you got from your homeboy. Even if he said he got it from the doctor, like, don't believe it. If you didn't go to a doctor and get that as your medication, don't take it. Even if somebody's selling it to you, got the pill bottle. There could be an old pill bottle they had, and they putting new fake pills in it. Like, it's a dangerous game if you out here taking drugs. You gotta really, like, pay attention.
Like a tragic accident, and starts feeling uncomfortable in a way people don't like to sit with. Rich homie Quan was not a struggling artist, not a man spiraling publicly, not someone the industry had written off. He had money, recognition, connections, and more importantly, he had value. And whenever someone with value suddenly dies, the details matter more than the headlines. According to the official version, Quan was found unresponsive inside his own home, and the cause was labeled an overdose almost immediately. A word that has become the industry's most convenient explanation, but when you look at the timeline closely, nothing lines up cleanly. The first person who reportedly saw him unresponsive did not call emergency services right away, did not alert anyone outside the house, and did not describe any visible attempt to check if he was still alive. Instead, he moved Quan's body from the floor to the couch, as if the outcome was already decided. That detail alone raised eyebrows, because panic does not look like that. Shock does not look like.
So what's your thoughts on Rich Homie Quan passing?
Yeah. It's sad, man. It's sad. Rich Homie had a lot of potential. You feel me? Like, he just made the wrong choice in the past. What could have that hurt his career. And he didn't have to make that choice. But sometimes people gotta learn how to stand up for themselves. Don't be intimidated by no group of people. Cause them group of people, man, they ain't know that for real.
Look like that. When people find someone they love unconscious, they react fast and messy, not calm and procedural. Hours passed before authorities were contacted. And by the time that call finally happened, Quan was reportedly cold, foaming at the mouth, and clearly gone. Yet even that call did not sound like desperation. It sounded controlled, almost detached, which is why the audio set the internet on fire the moment it surfaced. People began asking why no one checked on him earlier, why he was left unattended for so long, and why the explanations felt rehearsed rather than emotional. Then the environment itself came into question, because there were multiple people in the house that night, some closely connected, others
Mother, mama, I call you mama. We been introduced since 2003. Big bro, so, you know, it's real family. Corey, what going on?
Barely explained at all. Stories didn't fully match. Timelines overlapped awkwardly. and certain names kept appearing and disappearing from the narrative without clarity. Adding to the confusion was how quickly the case seemed to wrap up. Toxicology results moved fast, unusually fast for a high-profile death, and before the public could even process what happened, the conclusion was already being treated as final. That speed created suspicion rather than closure. Quan's father later spoke publicly and made it clear that the version being pushed did not sit right with him. Not emotionally and not logically. He described a son he spoke to.
But how you move, Emma, is how we supposed to move during these times. Because all the morals and the doctrines, this is the only time that we really apply it. When we hurt Job, everybody go read the book of Job. Just read the book of Job. He took everything from Job. He kept snatching everything from Job. And Job, like every Christian that, everybody like, I put so much good into the world. Why so much bad coming to me? He like, you know what? I ain't really been bad to nobody. I just want to talk to him. I want to ask him why. Why he doing this to me? God looked at him and said, who you talking to? Why not you? This is the time for you to praise my name. This is the time for you to tell the other people through the midst of pain, I'm the one that's giving you the strength, fool. So when people think you crazy, Mom, you ain't crazy. You being obedient.
Regularly. A son he warned about pills. A son who did not live the reckless lifestyle being implied. This wasn't denial. It was confusion mixed with grief, and that matters. Meanwhile, behavior from people closest to Quan after his death only added fuel to the fire. Social media posts felt off. Timing felt wrong. And what should have looked like mourning began to look like movement. Opportunities being chased, attention being redirected, and silence where there should have been explanations. At that point, the conversation shifted from what happened to who benefited, and once that question enters the room, it never leaves quietly. From there, the story only grows heavier. Because once suspicion enters the conversation, it starts pulling everything into its gravity. People began looking beyond the house and toward the industry itself, asking who stood to gain if Quan was no longer around. This was not a man on the brink of collapse, but someone quietly repositioning his life, and that kind of shift can make certain relationships nervous. Whispers spread that he was distancing himself from specific circles, choosing peace over pressure and control. In this business, independence is not always celebrated, it is sometimes punished. Anonymous voices claiming insider knowledge started floating screenshots, messages, and half-told stories suggesting Quan knew too much or was ready to walk away. None of it was proven, but none of it sounded impossible either. When industry figures commented, they danced carefully around the truth, speaking in metaphors and warnings rather than names. Some hinted that people who try to stand alone often find themselves isolated fast. Others reminded fans how power rarely moves loudly and how silence can be just as effective as force. Then there was the reaction after the funeral, which only deepened the unease. Instead of unity, there were fractures. Instead of clarity, there was avoidance. Certain questions were never answered directly, and certain people seemed protected by the lack of answers. Meanwhile, fans and commentators noticed money conversations starting far too early, from memorial funds to intellectual property discussions to sudden interest in legacy control. It felt rushed, like time was being used as a shield, hoping emotions would dull curiosity. But curiosity only sharpened. The absence of a clear timeline, the contradictions in statements, and the speed of official closure created a vacuum, and the internet rushed to fill it. Every interview clip, every old lyric, every strained relationship was pulled back into the light and Some theories went too far, others stayed grounded, but together they painted a picture of a death that did not feel random. And hovering over all of it was the quiet fact that no one has convincingly explained why help was delayed that morning. That question remains untouched because it is the hardest one to answer. Grief explains pain, but it does not explain inaction. Fear explains silence, but it does not explain calm. Until someone speaks plainly, without deflection, without careful wording, and without benefit in mind, the doubt will remain. This is not about chasing villains or turning tragedy into entertainment, it is about truth and accountability. Rich Homie Quan was a person before he was a headline, and people deserve to know what really happened in those final hours, because unanswered questions do not fade, they echo. Until clarity arrives, speculation will continue shaping narratives, conversations, and beliefs, leaving families restless. Fans divided and truth delayed by noise power, and fear because silence protects systems more than it protects people, who are searching for answers while time passes, memories fade, and accountability slips further away for now. At the end of the day, this story does not belong to rumors, blogs, or comment sections. It belongs to the truth, and the truth does not move unless people keep pushing for it. What happened in that house that morning still has gaps, and until those gaps are filled, silence will continue doing the work for whoever benefits from it. This is bigger than one headline and bigger than one artist, because every time a story gets closed too fast, it teaches the system that no one is paying attention. If details do not add up, we should be allowed to say that out loud. If timelines feel rushed, we should be allowed to question why. And if powerful names are circling quietly while answers stay missing, then transparency becomes a responsibility, not a luxury. So ask yourself, who gains when curiosity dies, and who loses when questions are ignored? If you believe rich homie Quan deserves clarity, if you think accountability matters more than comfort, then keep this conversation alive. Share this video, leave your thoughts, say what others are afraid to say, and challenge narratives that rely on silence. Like this video if you believe stories should be fully told. Subscribe if you want more deep dives that refuse to look away, and remember, attention is power, and right now, attention is the only thing keeping this